Welcome back to another Film Geek movie review. Today I am off to check out the new horror film, Cuckoo. So what's the story of Cuckoo? Well, it tells the story of a teenage girl who's forced to move with her parents to this resort, and then weird shit starts happening. Just in the trailer, she's riding her bike and she's attacked by this strange woman, and then it seems like this weird woman is just around attacking people throughout the entire resort. There's a scene, it's in the trailer, so no spoiler here, but there's a scare that they have in the trailer that is freaking insane to me. Alright, there's just this lady in her room drying her hair, minding her business, and she's just staring at the door while she's doing it. And then this lady just kind of pops around the corner. She's just kind of doesn't say a word. This isn't a jump scare moment like we're used to. It's not one of those with the big loud sounds and the bam bam bams and then the monster coming out of nowhere going, nah. She just kind of peeks around the corner. That shit scares the hell out of me, guys. I am going to be completely honest with you. That is a freaking fear of mine. And I'm not talking about monsters or ghosts or any of that crap. I have this weird, irrational fear where I'll be sitting in my house and I'll have the lights off, no big deal. I'm watching something and I'll look over at the door of the apartment, I'll look over at the front door and our kitchen is right there, right? So there's a wall blocking it. And I just picture in my head a complete stranger just peeking out from there, not making a sound, just being what's up, man? And just bowing back into the shadows. I don't know why, but that just freaks me the hell out. So honestly, guys, I'm looking forward to this movie. It looks pretty awesome. And I know I'm running a little behind on my review. I've been down with the sickness lately. I haven't been feeling too great. I got a little bit of a something. And so I've been out of the loop for a little while, so I'm getting back out there. And you know what? It's enough of me sitting here jibber jabbering on. It is time for me to get out the door because I need to go see Cuckoo. Welcome back, just getting home, and guys, this movie was one hell of a ride. So let's get started, shall we? We're going to get things started with negatives, then move into the positives in the video on the ever so important high note. Now, negative-wise, I only have really one thing that I think might annoy some folks with this film, and that is the fact that by the end of the movie, there are some questions that go unanswered. There are some folks that you kind of wonder what the hell happened to. They just kind of fade away because honestly, they're not important to the story, so it doesn't really matter. Now, I'm not saying that this film ends on some kind of spinning top ambiguous ending. No, the movie does wrap up the loose ends that it needs to wrap up. There's just some things that are still left hanging at the end of this film. Some questions that are being asked of the audience just do not get answered by the end of this movie. And personally, I liked that because I felt that it made the viewer make things up in their own head and try to piece together exactly what they just saw and come up with their own ideas of what could have possibly happened. Now, I understand that some viewers might not like that method of storytelling. I myself really enjoyed it. I thought it brought a lot to the film, a lot more depth, but at the same time, I can definitely feel the annoyance that somebody would have at the end of a movie that doesn't give you all of the answers to everything that it just showed in front of you. So that being said, let's move into the positives, shall we? Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the acting in this film, and the one actor that I really want to shine a light on is our main actor, Hunter Schafer. Now, I am not familiar with her work. This is the first time I have ever seen her in anything, and to be honest, she did an outstanding job. And if she can continue this type of effort with her roles, she has one hell of a career ahead of her. And if she can stay in horror too, I would really appreciate that, because boy, does she have a really good knack for this type of genre. Great job. The pacing of this film is outstanding. This movie starts off crazy and it ends crazy. At no point did I feel like this movie really slowed down. It didn't necessarily take its time like a slow burn, but it does a great job of moving along with its character development and the action and such. The story is very good. There's elements of all sorts of different types of horror here, folks. We have some elements of what could be considered a slasher. We got monster movie kind of vibes. There's also some folk horror thrown into this film. The movie throws in a lot of different elements and does a really great job of dealing with all of them. Now, this film is not a jump scary movie. There were no real massive jump scares throughout this film. This is more of a creepy vibes, dread type of film. This film does a good job of constructing a very large atmosphere throughout the entire film. And because of the fact that you don't really know the rules of what's going on around you, you never really know what's about to happen. So with the atmosphere and the overwhelming dread that you feel throughout this entire film, you might not necessarily have those jump scare feelings, but you are very queasy and you just have this feeling of unease throughout the entire film. So I feel like it does a very good job on an emotional level for a horror film, but it's not necessarily something that I would call an extremely scary horror film. If you're somebody that can't handle a lot of jump scares, but you like the idea of seeing something creepy and weird, this is definitely a horror film for you. Now, if you feel like the only types of fear is stuff that's jumping out at you every 10 seconds, probably not your vibe. This might not be your kind of horror. But all in all, guys, I feel like this film built a wonderful atmosphere and crafts some excellent scares throughout the entire film that doesn't necessarily jump right out at you. They let fester inside you and make you feel uneasy throughout the entire course of the film. And then when you get home, you're still kind of looking around the corners and questioning what the hell was just going on. So all in all, folks, this is a very solid atmospheric horror that walks this wonderful thin line of high-end horror and schlocky fun. So all in all, folks, I would say this is a solid get out there, check this movie out in theaters. It is not overly gory. There is some blood, but not stuff that I would consider blood and guts. So again, if this sounds like something that's your vibe, this is a definite get out there, see this film. At this point in time, I'm not seeing a lot of people talk about this film right now, so definitely support this movie if you can. So thanks again, folks. If you liked what you saw here today, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and give me the old thumbs up if you like what you're seeing. And if there's one more thing you can do, folks, that is keep watching movies. You know I'm gonna.